feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Wait, what about your vomit streak?
I know, I haven't thrown up since June 29th, 1980.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Seinfeld mistakes that were left in the show.
Did you ever see him throw up?
We talked about that already.
For this list, we'll be looking at the editing blunders and inconsistencies that were left in this show about nothing. Since some of the errors might give away some important moments in the sitcom, this is your spoiler warning. Did you catch any of these mistakes on your first watch? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, the wedding ring.
Did you have a nice ride?
Oh, great ride.
Oh, that's good, because it was your last.
You'll definitely need a sharp eye to notice the small wardrobe error in this season 7 episode. When Elaine and Kramer can't decide who has rightful possession of a bike, they go to Newman to find an unbiased solution to their argument.
Interesting dilemma. Each of you seemingly has a legitimate claim to the bicycle, and yet the bicycle can have only one rightful owner. Quite the conundrum.
As Newman contemplates their situation, you can spot a major costume mistake. Actor Wayne Knight is still wearing his wedding ring on his left hand. However, when he delivers his final decision to cut the bike in half, the ring is gone.
Not easy questions to answer. Not for any man. But I have made a decision. We will cut the bike down the middle and give half to each of you.
While this moment has us wondering who would marry Newman, we also start thinking about who let this mistake slip by. Number 9, Jerry's non-vomit streak. When George and Elaine end up hanging out without Jerry, they realize things get pretty awkward and boring when it's just the two of them.
So I've been here about 6 years.
86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91.
Fortunately, their conversation takes off when they start making fun of Jerry.
You don't tell him?
No.
That is so funny.
I know.
Have you ever seen him throw up?
The professional comedian is strangely proud of the fact that he hasn't lost his lunch since 1980.
Oh, I haven't vomited in 13 years.
Get out!
Not since June 29th, 1980.
You remember the date.
Unfortunately, this precise mention of time throws a wrench in the timeline. Elaine stated that she moved to New York in 1986. So how would she have known what Jerry looks like throwing up if the last time it happened was 1980? The only time she could have seen him thrown up is in the season 5 episode, The Dinner Party, when a black and white cookie finally ends his streak.
Mary, I think you broke my toe. Where are you going?
14 years down the drain.
Number 8, George's briefcase.
This is a crude mock-up of the conference room. 1/14th scale.
When did you build this thing?
Yesterday, took the day off.
After Susan's untimely passing, George is tasked with running the foundation created in his late fiance's memory. An offhand cough from someone in the organization makes George paranoid about how others feel about him.
Pardon? Flamin.
Well, you should choose the poem since you knew Susan best at the time of her unfortunate accident.
So he forgets a briefcase with a tape recorder at the meeting to hear what everyone really thinks. When he confronts the board about the strange contents on the recorder, the suitcase is wide open for the majority of the scene.
Let's start with you, Wick.
George, Quinn here was moving a chair. He lost his balance and dropped it.
But there's a moment where the briefcase is suddenly closed. We really doubt George closed and reopened the briefcase with lightning speed during his dramatic outburst.
Hello, Rumple. Metallic swing. Along. And someone crying out, "Dear God!"
Number 7, exact change. A starving George turns his attention to a Twix bar in the vending machine while hanging in a car dealership.
Twix. B5.
After he repeatedly fails to get the candy with a crumpled dollar bill, he resorts to looking under the machine for loose change. He tells Jerry he just needs another nickel.
Why don't you just go to the cashier?
The cashier is at lunch, which is where I'd like to be.
How much was under there?
I think something bit me. I just need another nickel.
We then watch him proceed to pay for the 50-cent candy bar with 3 coins. However, this doesn't add up. Since quarters are worth 25 cents, dimes are worth 10, and pennies are worth 1, we can't think of a single coin combination with a nickel that would add up to 50 cents.
Come on! Jump!
Maybe this mathematical mistake is why George still never got his Twix.
The candy bar is paid for and yet remains dangling in the machine. Hey, it's gone. Where is my Twix? But that guy's eating it!
Number 6, the bathroom door. When Jerry forgets his new girlfriend's name and only knows that it rhymes with a part of the female anatomy, it's only a matter of time before he has to take a stab at it.
What about you? Did people make fun of your name?
Are you kidding? They were merciless. What do you expect when your name rhymes with a part of the female anatomy?
In this scene, she's giving him a shoulder rub when he decides to test the waters with his best guess.
Oh, nothing really, just a homicide. Oh, that's terrific. Mulva.
This exchange is so funny that we're almost completely distracted from the bathroom door in the background. As the scene cuts between different angles during their conversation, the door keeps alternating between open and closed.
What?
Mulva?
Mulva?
Oh, my aunt's name is Mulva.
Since there were probably a few takes of this hilariously awkward scene, we can see how this blunder ended up in the final cut of the episode. Number 5, siblings. It can take a while to fully flesh out a character's backstory in a long-running sitcom.
Who's Pauline?
Pauline? Wait a minute. Oh, my God. My brother once impregnated a woman named Pauline.
You think about her?
When I hear her name mentioned.
This opens the door for inconsistencies. When Jerry sees his uncle's receptionist in the Chinese restaurant, he worries that gossip will travel through his family and reach his sister.
Like, nobody ever disappears. My uncle to my aunt to my mother to my uncle. And my uncle to my cousin to my sister to me.
But she's never mentioned again. George also claims to have a brother when he sees a psychic, and while he tries to find parking.
Can't park in the garage.
Why?
I don't know. I just can't. Nobody in my family can pay for parking. It's a sickness. My father never paid for parking. My mother, my brother, nobody. We can't do it.
Neither of these sudden siblings are ever even mentioned by Seinfeld's or Costanza's parents. And based on the way both George and Jerry interact with their parents, we're much more inclined to believe that they're both only children.
Is it really happening? It's like a dream.
Oh, it's true.
All right, let's go.
Don't get in trouble with the Yankees. You be nice.
Number 4, I trust Elaine.
Well, you said you're going to be here a certain time, and you weren't.
And this all means, what?
Well, it means that a man has come from very far away to compete in a very difficult race. He's put his faith in you, and frankly, I'm a little concerned.
When marathon runner Jean-Paul comes to stay with Elaine, Jerry is skeptical of her ability to get him to the race on time. He eventually becomes obsessed with this predicament and insists on getting the runner out of her apartment.
You'll have a wake-up call, Jean-Paul. A wake-up call. These people never fail. They sit in a room with a big clock all night long, just waiting to make that call.
No, I will stay with Elaine. It would be rude.
In classic Seinfeld fashion, Jean-Paul is inadvertently kicked out of Elaine's place the night before the marathon.
What the hell are you doing harassing my tenants?
Oh, come on, you son of a bitch. I'm just trying to be friendly.
All right, that's it. Let's go.
Well, man, I got a race tomorrow.
When she goes out searching for him, Jerry's nagging echoes in her head as she walks down the dark streets of New York. She even hears Jean-Paul say, I trust Elaine. She is my friend.
He's put his faith in you. He's put his faith in you.
I trust Elaine. She is my friend. I trust Elaine. She is my friend.
Frankly, I'm a little concerned.
But since that line was never actually said by Jean-Paul in the episode, we found it strange that she would hear this dialogue at all. Number 3, Jerry's apartment number. Big fans of Seinfeld will know that Jerry lives in apartment 5A. However, this wasn't always the case. During the early days of the sitcom, it took a while to settle in on the exact location of Jerry's place in the building. In season 1, the door that George and Jerry walk up to is marked as Unit 411.
You sure the floss was the catalyst?
Yes, I am.
You don't think it might have had anything to do with that?
You don't like this?
Looks like your belt is digesting a small animal.
But the audience sees a 3A on Jerry's door in the episode The Phone Message.
Kramer, this is Donna.
Cotton duckers!
Hello! All right, we should be going. Come on. Where we Come on.
Don't bother. Don't bother. I'm leaving.
In the very next episode, the apartment number is finally 5A. This is how the door looked for the rest of the series. Since the apartment was labeled 5A in a season 9 flashback, it seems like writers finally figured out exactly where this comedian lived.
Do you need any help? Or?
No, thanks. But I ordered a pizza. You want some of it?
No. I couldn't impose.
Why not? We're neighbors. What's mine is yours.
Really?
Number 2, The Moving Books. After Jerry gets fined for a book that's 20 years overdue, the library sends their no-nonsense investigator after him.
Look, Mr. Bookman. I returned that book. I remember it very specifically.
You're a comedian. You make people laugh.
I try.
You think this is all a big joke, don't you?
While Lieutenant Bookman is in his apartment, he takes a black book, glances at it, and places it back on the shelf in front of a pink one. But when the camera cuts back to the detective, the black book is slotted behind the pink one.
Abby Huffman telling everybody to steal books. I don't judge a man by the length of his hair or the kind of music he listens to. Rock was never my bag. But you put on a pair of shoes when you walk into the New York Public Library, fella.
Since we don't think Lieutenant Bookman could make a mistake like this, we'll chalk this up to an editing inconsistency. Philip Baker Hall's hilarious performance as the library cop is also so good in this episode that we'll let this blunder slide.
This is about that kid's right to read a book without getting his mind warped. Or maybe that turns you on, Seinfeld. Maybe that's how you get your kicks. You and your good time buddies. Well, I got a flash for you, Joy Boy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, The Moving Newspaper. George infamously gave Jerry's phone number to the unemployment office and tried to pass off his friend's apartment as a real company.
Vandalay Industries. Kel Varnson speaking. May we help you?
But when an unaware Kramer picks up the phone, George stumbles out of the bathroom with his pants around his ankles to try to salvage the situation.
Now you're way off. Well, yeah, that's the right number, but this isn't an apartment. What?
When Jerry re-enters the apartment, the audience gets a glimpse of George's behind from the comedian's perspective.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
If you look closely between the shots, you'll see that the newspaper has magically switched sides when it fell on the floor next to George. It's hard to believe that one of the show's most recognizable scenes has a hard-to-spot error.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.